Hello everyone, today is 29th of September, Sunday, so I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Now it's 9:30 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan, and this is my first update for a day in which I'll share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. And there are quite a few very significant developments and news that I'd like to share with you for this moment. And I will start with this report from RIA Novosti, which is based on a statement of Russian Defense Ministry that during the night Russian air defense systems intercepted and suppressed 125 drones that were launched by Kyiv regime to strike deep inside the Russian territory. To be more precise, 67 Ukrainian drones were intercepted over the Volgograd region, 17 drones over the Belgorod region, also 17 drones over the Voronezh region, 18 drones over the Rostov region, 1 drone over the Bryansk region, 1 drone over the Kursk region and Krasnodar region, and also 3 drones were intercepted over the Azov Sea. Unfortunately, some of the drones managed to bypass air defense systems and targeted residential areas. In some cases, fire broke out in residential apartments, although miraculously people survived. There was no reports about civilians being killed, at least for now. I did not see any report on casualties, although some damage definitely was done. Apartment buildings were targeted, were damaged, and also number of cars was damaged as a result of this attack. Probably many members of our community already noticed a certain pattern in these long-range attacks with the drones on Russian territory by NATO and their proxies in Ukraine. Seems like for NATO it takes about 3, 4, 5 days, 3 to 5 days basically to provide their military personnel in Ukraine, in Kyiv-controlled territory, and also Kyiv regime, formerly Kyiv regime, with a new targeting data, with new flight path, new large-scale drone attack to be conducted. Because it seems like every 3 to 5 days we are seeing these long-range strikes when over 100 drones are launched by Kyiv regime to strike deep inside the Russian territory. Of course, if any updates on last night's attack, I will share additional information on my Telegram during the day. In next updates, Vzгляд newspaper is also reporting about yesterday's update of Russian Defense Ministry on progress of special military operation. And according to Defense Ministry, during the previous day, all along the frontline, Kyiv regime lost about 2,000 military personnel during their hostilities, killed and wounded. TASS news agency is basically confirming information that I reported about yesterday and day before yesterday, that Russian armed forces conducted long-range precise strikes on airfields of the Kyiv regime. Especially active Russian forces were in terms of targeting Starokonstantinov airfield, where according to some rumors, NATO and Kyiv regime was storing F-16, US-made F-16 fighter jets, and now, I mean, according to different reports that I see from overall, Kyiv regime for this moment lost from 5 to up to 8 F-16s already. And Russian Defense Ministry basically confirmed information about Kinzhal hypersonic missiles being deployed during these strikes on Kyiv regime's airfields, including in Starokonstantinov direction. TASS news agency also reports about quite strong speech that Lavrov had yesterday on sidelines of UN and during the UN General Assembly. I shared on my Telegram channel this morning some short videos about statements of the Russian Foreign Ministry. You can check these videos there. And if you are not subscribed to my Telegram, please consider to do so, because Telegram, also Rumble, my Patreon page and the Boosty pages are reserved lines of communication, of course. If if YouTube's administration will shut down my YouTube channel, which might happen just anytime, any day. So Lavrov stated, dear friends, that security can either be equal and indivisible for all, or it won't be for anyone. The Russian foreign minister cited the tragic and unacceptable terrorist events faced in Yemen, the Red Sea Basin, Sudan, and other conflict hotspots in Africa. To reflect his point, and unfortunately, there are many hotspots, not just in Africa, but obviously in the Middle East and many other regions. Also, Russian foreign minister stated that West is throwing Europe into suicidal escapade in Ukraine. Sergei Lavrov insisted it was senseless and dangerous to try and fight to victory against a nuclear power such as Russia, and I don't think any sensible individual in this world will argue with that. Obviously, Western ruling class is delusional. Western ruling so-called elites are delusional if they really think that they can achieve victory against Russia, nuclear superpower that has most nuclear warheads in this world, more than US, right? But tell this to Western ruling class. I mean, they probably are quite sure that Russia will never use extreme force, but I wouldn't be that sure. And recent statements of the Russian president about upcoming changes in Russian nuclear doctrine definitely can be seen as an indicator of that. Also, dear friends, Lavrov stated that modern Ukraine is just like Nazi Germany in many sense. Basically, after all, Nazi ideology, Nazi fascist ideology is dominating in Kyiv-controlled territory, and there is an ongoing fight against everything Russian. Russian language, Russian culture, Russian history, and unfortunately, it's not just Kyiv-controlled territory, but in many European states, in many Western states, we see a normalization of Russophobia, normalization of this anti-Russian Russophobic behavior when Russian culture, Orthodox religion, Russian history, Russians are targeted. It does reminds me a certain period of not so far away history. And I guess, as Lavrov mentioned Nazi Germany for a reason, right? Because it was in Nazi Germany when certain groups of people were targeted for no reason at all. But that was Nazi Germany. Why modern West is acting like that? That's the question, right? Also, dear friends, Lavrov stated that permission for Ukraine to use long-range weapons to strike deep inside Russian territory will show us if the US listen to warnings from Moscow. Sergei Lavrov explained that given the President Putin's public statements on the use of long-range missiles inside the Russian territory, anyone with an interest in Moscow's approach would have no excuse to not understand them. Once again, unfortunately, we all know that Western ruling class has no reverse gear. And as I already mentioned, it seems like this narrative actively being pushed in a collective West, that Moscow will never use its nukes, Moscow will never use extreme force, it's all bluff, don't take it seriously. I mean, many propaganda outlets are pushing this narrative, many so-called politicians in the West are pushing this narrative, which is extremely dangerous, isn't it? Which is extremely dangerous, but yet again, tell this to Western elites. Yet again, maybe latest statements of the Russian president in regards to upcoming changes in nuclear doctrine will finally reach its adressate among Western ruling class, and there may be some decision makers there will realizing that they really approach a red line that Moscow will not allow to cross. Maybe. We will see, isn't it? Also, dear friends, there was an article in Financial Times, and RT is reporting on that article that most Ukrainian soldiers are lost only a few days after they arrive on the battlefield. So Ukrainian military has been so depleted by attrition that the new infantry troops are often unfit for combat and flee at the first sight of fighting. The Financial Times reported on Friday in some units around 2/3 of the soldiers are reportedly killed or wounded within the days of arriving at the front. Manpower shortages have plagued the armed forces of Ukraine for over a year, according to reports in Ukrainian and Western media outlets. After multiple rounds of their conscription, the average age of the Ukrainian soldiers is now 45, and many of those sent to the front are unfit for combat. Multiple commanders and soldiers told the British newspaper. When the new guys get to their position, a lot of them run away at the first shell explosion. A deputy commander fighting near Uglidar in Donetsk region said, excuse me, another commander whose unit is attempting to hold their nearby town of Kurakhova said that some guys freeze because they are too afraid to shoot their enemy, and then they are the ones who live in body bags or severely wounded. The commanders estimate that 50 to 70% of new infantry troops are killed or wounded within days of starting their first rotation. So this is Western media outlets, dear friends. I don't know reach of the Financial Times, but for readers, especially lately, for many sympathizers of the Ukrainian Nazis, terrorists, and mass murderers, probably will be a bit depressed by reading some articles in Western propaganda outlets, because and they might be also surprised because it was not so long ago when Western entire propaganda machine was pushing this narrative that well, Kiev regime is inoffensive, Kiev regime is doing well, and this and that, and now every other day some big name in Western propaganda and like Financial Times, for example, it is a big name, isn't it, in Western propaganda. So every other day some of these outlets are coming up with more and more revelations, I should say, with more and more articles about the true situation on the line of contact and about true situation of the Kiev regime, which is dire, really desperate. And as I said many times before, dear friends, this proxy war against Russia, collective West already lost. Western ruling class already lost. Only formalization is left, and no matter how much money Western ruling elite's gonna pour into this proxy war, no matter how many weapons they're gonna send to further sacrifice citizens of Ukraine, at some point they will have no option but to acknowledge that they lost this proxy war against Russia, and they will come to the terms of objective reality and capitulate. That's what is going to happen, by the way. And of course, major developments are happening in the Middle East. Unfortunately, situation is escalating almost every day. And yesterday I reported about statements of IDF, Israeli Defense Force, that they kill as a result of long-range strike a leader of Lebanese Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, and later yesterday Hezbollah confirmed this information. So it is official that as a result of Israeli strike, Hezbollah's leader and according to some reports, significant number of other leaders of this organization, this group, were also killed. And during this strike, according to some reports that I see in Western outlets, representative of Iran's Quds Force, or IRGC, was also killed in Beirut, in the suburbs of Beirut. Unfortunately, it seems like Western ruling class and their proxies in the leadership of Israel are desperate, absolutely desperate, to provoke a regional war. And I explained many times my take on the situation in the Middle East, why I think that Western ruling class wants to provoke a regional war, which is that they want to cut China basically from Middle Eastern energy sources, because they know, and everybody knows, that about more than 90% of all the oil and LNG is exported from Middle East through Hormuz Strait, through Persian Gulf and Hormuz Strait, and one of the major buyers of the energy from the Middle East is China. So that's why Western ruling class are so desperate to provoke this regional war, and that's why they are using their proxies to constantly escalate and force basically regional countries to get involved, especially Iran. For now, it did not work. These provocations did not work, and Iran is staying, at least directly, Iran is staying out of this conflict, at least out of direct involvement. But as I already said, Western ruling class, their proxies are desperate to provoke this war, and after killing Hezbollah's leaders, I guess next step for Netanyahu's government in Israel will be targeting of the Iran's leadership. Because if killing of Hezbollah's leader will not provoke Iran to get involved, then what else Western ruling class and their Israeli leadership can do to provoke Iran for some actions, and then that will be used as excuse for Israeli leadership and its Western backers to start war against Iran, right? To basically transform this current confrontation into regional war. So therefore, I think it's only a matter of time, and Israel will start targeting Iran's leadership in attempt to provoke a regional war. And if you are interested, dear friends, what is the Moscow's position on Israelis killing of their Hezbollah's leader, then we have a statement from Russian Foreign Ministry on this matter, and this statement says that Russia strongly condemns the political assassination of the Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah by Israel, and their entire responsibility for the subsequent escalation in the Middle East will lay with the authorities of their Jewish state. This is stated in a statement of the Russian Foreign Ministry. So this is official position of Moscow, which is condemning this political killing of their Hezbollah's leader. Also, RIA Novosti is reporting that Israel, during their last night, conducted tens of additional strikes on Lebanon, formally on the positions of Hezbollah, but in reality, I mean, they are just killing everybody. Let's be real here. Up to 2,000 civilians already being killed in Lebanon, according to Lebanese Ministry of Health, and thousands and thousands were wounded. So I'm afraid Lebanon is about to experience what had happened in Gaza, what residents of Gaza experienced with this undiscriminate shellings, and when entire blocks of residential areas were erased, and then Israeli government was justifying this because they had intelligence that there was one or two Hamas fighter in that area. I mean, which is unbelievable that anybody could come up with such a justification. I mean, they killed their 500 people because they had intelligence that one Hamas fighter was in that area. This is nonsense, but that's what Israeli leadership does, isn't it? And I'm afraid Lebanon is about to experience something like Gaza did. And also, dear friends, also RT is reporting that, and by the way, as I said, Western ruling class and their proxies in Israeli leadership are desperate to provoke regional war. And they will escalate. They will continue this killing spree until they will most likely provoke regional war, because they're not gonna stop. I mean, you tell me if you see any realistic scenario in which Western ruling class and Israeli leadership is stopping killing people. I don't see such a scenario. They will escalate until regional war will be provoked. And they don't care, by the way. Those people don't care about anybody in the region or in this world. And no matter you are citizen of Jordan, for example, or Lebanon, or Israel itself, they just don't care. This is I guess Western ruling class sees current world map as a battleground against global South, against China, and they will sign up for anything to achieve victory over their global South or China, right? Over their emerging multipolar world, let's say, because I guess they think this is the only way they can somehow maintain their dominance in this world, or their relevance in this world. RT is also reporting that Israel is about to invade Lebanon. So Israeli Defense Force plans to enter southern Lebanon soon. ABC News reported on Saturday. ABC News is, of course, a US propaganda outlet, and this propaganda outlet was citing some anonymous sources among US officials. US outlet described their supposed operation as a very limited, but provided a few details about its nature or when it could begin. And well, even Israeli officials were quite clear on this topic, that Israel will start a ground operation against Lebanon, and most likely that is about to happen. That will happen. RT is also reporting that according to Israeli officials, Hezbollah's military leadership nearly entirely wiped out. So nearly all Hezbollah military leaders have been eliminated in recent Israeli strikes. Officials in the West Jerusalem have claimed after the group's leader Hassan Nasrallah was killed in a bombardment of their compound in Beirut. So of course it is difficult to say how many commanders of or leaders of the Hezbollah were assassinated by Israel, but does it make any crucial change on the ground? Instead of one commander was killed, he probably had several deputies. They will take position of the commander, and the organization will continue its operation. Hezbollah was not created yesterday or day before. Probably they had some directives in the place what to do and how to operate exactly in such scenario. So therefore, I don't think it does change fundamentally situation if Hezbollah's number of Hezbollah's commanders were killed. They will be replaced by others, and that's it really. But information itself, I guess, worth to be to pay attention to. RT is also reporting that Netanyahu threatens Iran with Israel's long arm. What I was just saying, dear friends, Western ruling class and their proxies in Israeli leadership, including Netanyahu, are desperate to provoke long-range war, and and probably they are losing their minds because despite what they did in Gaza, when they basically leveled the entire region, right, of the Palestine, and killed tens of thousands of civilians, despite attacks on Lebanon and killing of Hezbollah's political leadership and military leadership. Iran is staying out of this confrontation. Iran is not giving NATO or Western ruling class or Israel reasons, at least for now, to get targeted on a large scale, and they're basically, which will mean, of course, regional war, right? And therefore, what I said, dear friends, because nothing worked until now to provoke regional war, Western ruling class and their proxies in Israel most likely will start killing Iran's leadership, Iranian leadership. And yesterday there was reports that Iran's supreme leader was taken into some safe place, because I guess Tehran also understands that next step that Netanyahu will take and his masters among Western ruling elites is direct targeting of the Iran's leadership. They won't stop. They just don't stop until they will provoke regional war, and this information can be seen as a clear indicator of that. The assassination of the Hezbollah's leader Hassan Nasrallah in Lebanon shows that no place in the Middle East is beyond the reach of Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned in a televised address on Saturday. The Israeli Defense Force killed the leader of the Lebanese militant group in a bombing of the underground compound in Beirut. Hezbollah confirmed Nasrallah's death on Saturday. Netanyahu warned Iran, referring to its tweet as the Ayatollah's regime, that Israel will retaliate against any strike that threatens it. Those who strike at us, we will strike at them. There is nowhere in Iran or the Middle East beyond the reach of the long arm of Israel. And today you know how true that is, stated Netanyahu. So there we go. They are going after Iran's leadership. They want to provoke regional war. They want, Western ruling class wants navigation in the Persian Gulf and through Hormuz Strait to basically stopped. They want China to lose access to the Middle Eastern energy, and they will do anything for that. They will sign up literally for anything, any crime. That's the objective reality. And unfortunately, seems like nothing can stop them in their attempt to provoke a regional war, because at some point they will force regional countries in the Middle East, including Iran, to start acting, to start retaliating, basically. And of course, that will be used as excuse by Western ruling class, not just by Israeli leadership, but Western ruling class, to provoke regional war. And the US, by the way, at any time has about 3 aircraft carrier strike groups, isn't it, in a Middle East region. They can send another 1 or 2. US is increasing its troops presence in the Middle East on a regular basis. And today, for example, this morning, I read also article that US is further increasing its military presence in the region, and some additional troops are about to be deployed there. And therefore, I mean, it is obvious that preparations for regional war is in full speed on part of Western ruling class and the countries that they are in control of, including US, the UK, and other NATO member states. And dear friends, I want to end this update on something positive. Unfortunately, quite a lot of news are not really about some good stuff that is happening in the world, but this is the times that we are living in, and there are at least something positive here, that African lions enjoying, I don't know about enjoying or not, but you know, experiencing unexpected snowfalls or lions at the Glen Garif Conservation wildlife sanctuary in Harrismith, South Africa, are experiencing heavy snow this September, an unusual event for the big cats, their organization reported on Wednesday. The sanctuary reported that their majestic animals were both intrigued and cautious as they explored their landscape. Suzanne Scott of GG Conservation captured footage of the lions navigating their wintry conditions. According to a post on their sanctuary's Instagram account, their animals seldom encounter such an environment and were fascinated by their novel stuff falling from the skies. So yes, this is the picture, by the way. Lines in the snow. You're not gonna see such pictures every other day, isn't it? And as far as I understand, it's summer soon to be gone in South Africa, isn't it? In South Africa, in Australia, in New Zealand, on the southern hemisphere, it's a summertime to start soon. But still, I mean, weather has its surprises, and well, it's a nice picture, by the way. Something good, something positive. So yes, I will end this update on this news, dear friends. Hopefully you will find the update interesting, informative, and if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything. Let's try again and you know, influence algorithm. Maybe we will manage, and my video will end up in recommendations on YouTube or also on Rumble, dear friends. If you are not subscribed to my Rumble, please consider so. And if you can, please share information about my channel with your friends in real life or on internet, on any of the platforms that you are actively using, and not yet censoring my channel, my videos, because some platforms are censoring my videos. I know about Twitter, Facebook, for example, don't allow people to post links from my videos. Yes, if you like my work, if you like my channels, if you think me and my channel deserve to exist in this field of news and political commentary, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal or through Boosty platform, or by subscribing to my Patreon page, on which I have extra content on quite regular basis, not just about news, but also just about life in Russia. I already have over 200 videos there, by the way, on Patreon. 250 videos, something like that. All the links are under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Once again, have a wonderful day and take care. See you tomorrow.